All right.
Yay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Pixar Coco themed hangout where we're going to talk about the Find Your Voice trailer that was released today, the last or the most recent full-length trailer, 2.5 minutes. Pixar Coco themed hangout where we're going to get a little bit of
There's
feedback.
something weird happening here.
We're hearing ourselves. There's always a fun glitch when we get started. So actually just want to go ahead and, oh my gosh, we got some good folks already out in the comments. So Isael, I know you've been excited and talking about this all day, so happy to have you here. You gave us an hola, and I think that makes perfect sense, right? Hola.
Yeah.
Lauren West, Diego and friends, Cam Spinner fan, Fishface Studios, Fernando. We got a whole bunch of people. So hello, everybody. We're going to talk about the trailer. It was about 2.5 minutes-ish.
2:26.
2:26. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get your thoughts in the comments, of course. And as always, when we do these type of hangouts, we are joined by a special guest coming to you live for the first time from his new office. It is Dan, the Pixar fan. Welcome, Dan.
Hello. Well, not every time, because it's been a while. We were just talking before we went live. It's been a few months. March was the last time. And so I am just excited to be back. I was just telling TJ recently, I miss these things. Like, I love talking Pixar. I have nobody to talk Pixar with. And so I'm pumped to be back.
Well, we're glad to have you back. It's been too long. Glad our schedules aligned.
It was perfect.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So in case you didn't see in the comments there, Dan, Isael is saying hello as well.
Hello.
So shirt is awesome.
Well, which one?
Yeah, we've got
shirts.
Lou here, and then Dan's got his Pixar shirt as well. I'll put it back on Dan for a second there.
Ah, yes.
Yes, the Pixar animation one. Yes.
Since we didn't have Coco, I had to go generic. I felt like that was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't have Coco shirts.
Covers all the bases.
Keep an eye out on eBay, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Diego and friends, hola amigos. Yes. And,
well, let's get into it because I'm excited.
You're right. Okay.
Oh, I dropped my phone.
Yeah. Don't get too excited.
I need an iPhone 10 now.
You're dropping.
So, all right. So I am interested, in actually finding out just our first thoughts on the trailer overall. So Julie, you can give your thoughts on it. There was obviously a lot of stuff in or images that we had seen from the trailer that we had seen before.
Yes.
And then there's obviously a lot of new footage that we can talk about as well. And of course, as usual, we've got our notes going. Julie's got her notes as well. So
I got my notes right here.
Oh wow, that is little.
It's like micro.
I was screaming before we started. I'm like, dang it, I need to write some thoughts down. And this was available. So.
There you go. Well, it'll be interesting to see if you have some of the same thoughts we did. Obviously, in the chat, if anybody has anything, feel free to write them if you're watching direct on YouTube in there, and we'll read some of those.
What's crazy is we watched the trailer separate because you were at work when it dropped.
Right.
And I just looked at your notes, and it's funny because some of your notes are the same as my notes because we are one person.
Because we have not compared before, so this will be interesting to see what comes up.
Yeah, so like you were saying,
first thoughts, yes.
Yeah, so up until about 1minute and 25 seconds was all footage that we've seen, with the exception, really, of Dante going up above the Riviera families.
How it opens.
How it opens and I love that. I loved that opening scene where it's just Dante, the neighborhood dog, going in and scaring or frightening Miguel for a second, startling him. And then like the music kicks in. I love that. I love the song choice.
Hey, don't cover the whole thing already.
I know, but we'll get into that more.
Overall thoughts.
Holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
All right. What makes you say holy smokes?
Holy smokes, because what I saw at Pixar was fantastic. And when we saw the footage, it was about 35 minutes. When that footage ended, I was like, no. Yeah. This trailer whet my appetite even more.
Okay. All right.
So holy smokes, that's what I have to say.
All right, Dan, what are your first impressions after seeing the trailer?
Well, I gotta ask: was a lot of what you saw here most of what you saw there at Pixar?
No.
The trailer? So there's a lot of new stuff then for you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
And you saw 35 minutes at the beginning of the
35 to 40 minutes.
So that would be towards there could be clips from the end.
Yeah, there was
further in the film.
Yeah, because usually the third, at least for domestic trailers, the third act is usually saved. A lot of the footage from trailers usually comes from the first 2 acts. So I'm surprised that there might be quite a bit in there. I haven't pieced it all together. Honestly, I haven't dove into it. That's why I'm excited to do that now, because between work and everything today, I wasn't able to really get into the nitty-gritty of it. But overall, I was obviously blown away. And there's a lot that we had seen before, and that was good as always. But the scope and just the scale of it really was breathtaking, and I'm excited to see that full force in the theaters and IMAX. I'm assuming there's going to be an IMAX release of this, and that's just going to be outstanding. Yeah, absolutely. So my thoughts mirror much of what you both said as well. So definitely the beginning. Again, we kind of established that was after that beginning scene. There's a lot that we had seen, but then once it goes from there. The first thing that I said, which is what we included in the title of the post, is, well, the stakes have just been risen.
Yeah.
The stakes are higher for all the characters. So actually that's something that I felt right away, because we're seeing all this fast action. We're seeing the music being played. We're seeing all the Land of the Dead stuff. And now with the description that came along with the trailer that was actually on the new screenshot that they released, there's some more details there. So I'm actually going to read that real quick. So it actually says the title of it was On Course to Cursed. So when aspiring musician Miguel ends up in the Land of the Dead, his family takes him to the Department of Family Reunions, where a busy clerk informs him that he's cursed. To return to the land of the living, Miguel will need a magical marigold petal and the blessing of a family member. But according to the clerk, the family member can include any condition mentions she likes. So it doesn't say like he or she, it says she likes, even forbidding music forever. So I thought that was a really cool tagline. And you could, I guess what I'm thinking, the first thing that comes to mind, and you guys can tell me if I'm like way off from hearing that, and what we saw in the trailer where he's on this timed journey that we know he has to get back or he's going to get stuck there and potentially even forgotten, which we'll get to all that. Pixar and their forgotten themes.
They're gonna get us again, man.
I know. I know nobody wants to be forgotten, so it's like a universal thing. Like we all want to feel like we leave a stamp on the world. But
so I know a little bit about, and I may have seen a little bit about that special petal.
Okay.
And she.
Oh, okay.
Does
all right.
it. And it is in previous release trailers. It is in this one.
Yeah, where she hands that.
It's Mama Imelda.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so because she's the one handing it to him, she might be the one that potentially can set the conditions. Yeah. Okay. I thought when I first heard that it was definitely going to go back to, his great great grandmother, the one that put the ban on music.
That's who Mama Imelda is. And
Dude, I'm right with you. I haven't cracked the code on this either.
Oh my goodness! I could tell you everybody.
Okay.
I've like studied this family tree. I am like way into this movie.
From what I understand, from what I've heard from the Pixar, like from the footage that was shown, they lay it out beautifully at the beginning where they simplify it for a general audience and for whatever age you are. And tell me if I'm right, Julie, they just lay it out totally simplistically so that you can totally gauge what's going on throughout the movie.
It is so creative, the beginning of this film, how they do the storytelling.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe after I see that, I'll know more, or I'll get it better.
Yeah, and there's a book about the family tree that's coming out soon. I believe it comes out October 3rd-ish, 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I was actually joking on I think it might have been on our last hangout or even just in a post that I was like, we were going to do one. We were going to make a family tree of all the characters, but then they were like, well, they're coming out this book, so that's going to be perfect because we absolutely need to get a sense for that. But yeah, definitely the definitely the movie is going to set that up in the opening scenes. And you said it's, I think you said it on the podcast that how it's
beautiful.
portrayed.
I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I can't remember
Sure.
if I said exactly how, because it is really, it's really creative. It's awesome, and it's gonna
Yep.
simplify, this big cast. You're gonna understand it.
And I like that, because I have been worried that it would get a little bit complex with not only just a big cast, but all of these relationships and different generations. That could be a lot to juggle in a film, and for everybody to follow along, not only us adults, but also a younger crowd too. And I'm really excited to see how they kind of cracked that code, or cracked that, that hurdle, I guess, of making it simplified for people to be able to follow. I'm excited. And like Lee said, he even wanted a bigger cast. So obviously they figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been.
Yeah, he did talk that he wanted a bigger cast.
Right. Yeah. That was
So they must have done something right, because, it seems like they figured it out. They don't seem too worried about it. So.
Right. Exactly. So a couple side note questions just in here as well. So Ben McVitie, so hi, thanks for joining us. Just a general question off the wall, but we'll jump back and forth between a couple of these. How many Pixar shirts do we own? I don't even know. Into the 50s for sure.
I actually did I think when I laid them all out recently, I did an Instagram post like a few months ago. I think I was in the early 40s. Late
Okay.
30s.
So
yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I think I only have 4, because I always buy them for
you
you.
have more than that.
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
I always buy them for you.
Yeah.
Someone had mentioned they speak Spanish. Or they can speak Spanish ?
Meaning the characters in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's Ivan Gamer 25. So yeah. So he asked they can speak Spanish ?
Yes, there is quite a bit of Spanish in the film, and it's amazing because I don't speak Spanish. I took 4 years of French, and I can't even speak French, but you understand it. You understand it because of the interactions,
right?
The tonality of the characters. It's amazing. It really is amazingly done. I don't know. I can't describe it, but I didn't even really notice it, but there is a lot of Spanish in it. But you don't notice it because it fits so well and you understand it. And I can't even understand it. It's just, it works.
Well, what they said in the interview that you guys posted that you recorded from your event, they talked about if it's a integral plot point, they would obviously do that in English or with subtitles. If it was more of just the emotion and the feeling, there was no need to convey that with subtitles or with anything like that, because you can, like you were saying, Julie, that you know automatically what's going on just from a gesture or a tone. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like when it was just interesting to hear like when the decisions were made to add subtitles or to add this in Spanish or whatnot. So.
Yeah, it's gonna make the whole movie just feel more authentic to have that tone sprinkled throughout, and it is nice that we're not gonna feel like we're necessarily outsiders or anything like that. We're still gonna understand it, like you said, how they described it as well. Couple other comments about the music in the trailer. So let's just talk about it because that actually is something that a lot of people are commenting about. So at about a minute and a half in, it kicks into Bittersweet Symphony, which is it's a sample of a Rolling Stone song that the Verve did, but it's clearly the Verve's version of it. But what were your thoughts?
Well, fun fact.
Yes, yeah, we have a decent connection to this song.
Fun fact: we love this song so much that when we got married 3 days ago, we celebrated our 12-year wedding.
We didn't get married 3 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. So 3 days ago, we celebrated our 12-year wedding anniversary, but we actually used Bittersweet Symphony in our wedding video. We had our videographer, we said, we love this song. And he's like, I love it too, but no one likes it because of the, Bittersweet Symphony. Like,
well, no, then there's like a line, you make some, you got to bleed.
Yeah.
There's phrases, but it works really well.
It's just a beautiful song. And so when I heard that, I was like, this is incredible. And it's just that hook gets you. you know, the strings, and I think it fit perfectly. And I really, really, really love whoever edited this video when they added the Dante's lunch scene into this trailer, how they played the music from Dante's lunch, and then it morphed into, and it made the Bittersweet Symphony, it changed the Bittersweet Symphony into the more upbeat part of the song. I thought that was very, very clever.
It was interesting because
to move the trailer along to the new footage that we hadn't seen yet.
Yeah. So it's very interesting that some of the comments that we've been getting about that, because some people are saying that they found the song like distracting at times, especially where it does overlay with the Dante's lunch song. And then other people were hoping that it was going to be some more samples of Remember Me or another song from the movie. We've got a couple people that are commenting on that right now. And also, thank you for the congrats on the anniversary. We're very happy as well.
Yeah.
So
12 years married, 18 years together. Whoa!
Nice little jingle you did there.
I know.
You just make that up?
I did.
Yeah.
I've been with him longer, half my life, more than half my life.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Whether you like it or not.
I'm old.
So, yeah. So what did you guys think about, what did you think, Dan, as far as the song choice? Because I saw you tweeted it out right away. Like, you know, does everybody else have this song stuck in their head?
Which I did. That was true. And I still do.
Yeah.
Like I was working today and I was just like, so like the whole time I was just like, that song. But yeah, so initially I was like, interesting choice. I mean, I think a lot of people like, obviously it's not what I was expecting, that's for sure.
Right.
Totally, Dan. I was not expecting it at all.
No.
I never would have even crossed my mind. And I really would like to know who does this. Is it like is it editors? Is it marketing?
Disney marketing.
Yeah, I would love that, because it worked really well.
Yeah, so obviously it wasn't expected. And I've heard complaints, and I've watched a couple of trailer reactions, kind of like, you know, listen to some on my way home from work and stuff like that, where they did complain about the music. They said, oh, where's the mariachi music, and where's the Mexican music? They chose this song, and where's the original you know, score? Where's the songs that they've created? And you know what? I'm kind of excited that they didn't use that, because I want to go into this film so fresh, as far as the music is concerned, as far as the musical numbers, the authentic stuff that they recorded, Michael Giacchino's score. Like, I love going into that all fresh, and so I'm excited that they kept that kind of under wraps for now.
Yeah, I can see where some people were thinking it, though. Like, even Rachel Wagner in the comments right now is saying it's not a Mexican song. I thought that was kind of strange that it didn't have some type of flair there. I do think that with the trailer music, it is very often all over the place. We've heard some very interesting stuff. Inside Out did More Than a Feeling. I mean, obviously that kind of tied in with the feeling phrase, but then they've done other stuff that's just made for trailer music that's that they've had as well.
Yeah, it doesn't reflect at all what the music in the film is going to be like. But the music in the film is obviously going to be very authentic. Lee has said that countless times, and I think that going in expecting that kind of music, no, it's going to be authentic music. And Michael Giacchino's score, he's so good at capturing cultures. He's done that with several of his movies, most notably with, as far as Pixar is concerned, with Ratatouille, and getting that Paris, France vibe going.
Yeah, definitely interested to hear some of that. More news to come in regards to obviously that score and soundtrack as well. So we shall see what Michael will do with it.
It's almost like Inside Out, where Bing Bong was a secret. It's almost like the music's going to be our secret surprise.
Yeah,
I hope so, because I don't like when they release too much, because I usually am compelled to watch it, even though that's on me. I know that. I would love to I love going in knowing as little as possible. That's why I didn't dive too deep into the trailer, especially the music. I'm just excited because the music is such a big part of this. Not only is it like a big part of the ambiance and the feeling and everything, but it's like central to the plot too. And those original songs like Remember Me, I know we got a snippet of that at D23, but to see that in the context of the film is I think going to be really emotional.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to save that. So,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, go for it.
I was going to say, with this film, like learning about this film, when we first learned about it years ago, I was like, oh, okay, you know, I don't know, you know, I was unsure. But then again, you know, when the original Cars came out, I was like, Cars, oh, I don't know. Or Wall-E, a robot. How am I going to, you know, get emotional with the robot? So as more and more has come out about Coco recently within this past year, and especially going into the Pixar event, I have wanted to learn more about the culture of this film. It's like eye-opening, and I think it's a great thing, especially now, just to like learn about everybody. And I am so all about this film. I can't even say enough good stuff. I'm so excited. I think this might cross to the top, the very top for me.
Well, don't go that far yet. We'll wait.
But in excitement, because I can't say because I haven't seen the whole film, but in excitement, I am so excited. I don't remember going into a film being so excited about a film, the Pixar film.
I'm all hyped now.
Yeah, and well, so as we kind of talked about it before in other posts, we've all talked about it on these different hangouts. The one thing that they touch on in this, and we're going to kind of jump around a little bit, and I'm seeing some good comments about comparing the marketing of the film with the Olaf short. So we'll actually talk about that at the end. Everybody keep me honest and remind me of that. And then we're going to talk about some box office predictions as well that I want to throw in here. But so the line with Hector. So again, Hector is his guide in the land of the dead. That he says, I know your great-great-grandpa. I'll get you to him, is one of the lines from it. And then we also hear that line that ties into what Pixar does so well. So when there's no one left in the living world who remembers you, you disappear from this world, meaning the land of the dead. So this is something that, as far as I know, we had not heard this prior, as far as what was released in trailers or anything like that. I know you had heard that, and you were like, oh my God, they revealed it. But that is something that nobody else has heard till now, correct?
From what I know, but that was actually a thought that I had. I had a feeling that's where they were going with it, because that stemmed from one of the TV spots or trailers. There's a line that's broken up. It's by one of the characters, and they say, you need to remember your family loves you, or something like that. It was broken up, and I was like, remember your family? I was like, is that where they're going with this? I'm like, but then they were like, loves you. I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm like, that's a good point, though. I wonder if it's going to be about remembering those who have passed on and things like that. So I started from that line, even though it wasn't even like in the same context, like it started me thinking along those lines. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh, so they are going there.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense if they're going to have that theme of the time running out, where he could turn into a skeleton and stay that way, and get stuck, so Miguel could potentially. But is that going to be? That's going to be the emotional core of this again, isn't it? Like literally, like where it's going to be like you're going to think about Hector's problems that he has, and this is where the story is going to get good for me, and where I think I'm really going to get attached to it. Because, you know, I like when movies have all the multiple facets.
Yes.
And I better buy into almost all the sub-characters that we meet. Some of them can be strictly comic relief. My ultimate probably, you know.
They're going to be the twins, I believe.
It's like tuck and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, they're like the best. But then you have to have other characters that you're buying into their progression at some point. And I just feel like Hector, we're going to really get bought into. Miguel he's got to figure out some kind of way that he can work with Hector or whatever and be like, how can I help Hector in some way? And I hope that happens.
Well, he even says it. He goes, you can help. You can change it.
You can change that.
You can change
I think he says you can change that.
You know what?
I have a theory, but I'm not going to say it because I know.
You know elements.
I know elements.
You know too much.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Of course.
I just remembered, though, another hint of that story point was when I heard the title "Remember Me" of the song. I just remembered that as well.
Yeah, we talked about that on one of the other hangouts as well, where it was like, you know, so much of this movie is about remember me. It's like, don't don't forget. And that was kind of in, you know, some of the ofrendas. Okay. I'm putting it out there. I'm a noob. So, but yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what we're thinking, or what I am thinking between that scene. Like, I'm hoping Miguel buys into him and tries to help him out. But that's going to be the emotional tie. You know, is there going to be a Bing Bong character? Is there going to be somebody that, like, we saw that mask fade, or was that a skull that had faded? That was in that the chest.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like a person.
Yeah, so it's like some of their extra belongings that they had. Like, there was like some cooking stuff, and like a shoe shine brush. So is that somebody from his family that may have been forgotten along the way? That is going to be the part that is going to be. So thank you, Diego and Ofrenda. That is going to be the part that's really going to probably get me, is the whole fading of people, and how do you create this memory that lives on forever? Mm-hmm. Which actually. Oh, go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
You're midpoint. Go for it.
It's fine. So it actually got me thinking when I saw that, and somebody had, I think it might have been Rachel that had an earlier comment that said that they think that Ernesto might be a villain in some sense. I'm kind of wondering, he is so obsessed with remember me, remember me, remember me. I wonder if he doesn't want anybody else to be remembered, and he wants to be like the ultimate one to be remembered.
Dan, you have thoughts? Because then I have a thought.
Julie, your face looks like you're putting things together over there.
He can't be a villain. He can have an ego, but he can't be a villain. Do you know why? It's because he said one cannot deny who one is meant to be. That is such a beautiful quote. Everyone should live by that quote. Right. You can't deny who you are meant to be. Right. I mean, that could be for like so many things, everything. He's not a bad guy. He's just very ego. We know people who have big egos. Sometimes we do, you know, everyone's, you know, guilty of that, but it's just like, no.
It would be too obvious. And Rachel said a surprise villain in a Disney film. No way. So yes, that would be way too typical if that were the case. But Dakari and Brooks is saying, I think Ernesto's is going to be kind of a jerk. And I think they agree.
I think the quote unquote villain per se is
time.
Is the time.
Not time. It's loss. Is not being forgotten.
Okay, time and being forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really, I mean, time. Any length of time will lead to you being forgotten, because there's only so many generations realistically that it's going to be able to go back before you're forgotten.
Unless you are fully documented and you have good family history and good records and all that kind of stuff. Could they tie in like that aspect of like genealogy or like or documentation or journal writing or things like that, I wonder? Because that's a huge part of being remembered is that. And I've always grown up in a family who was big on, you know, genealogy and family history and keeping a daily journal and that kind of thing. So I don't think they're going there, because that's a whole separate point. But I wonder if that could be touched on. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting.
I think it'll be touched on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure. Like I said, I haven't seen anything like that, but I have thoughts in certain parts of the film that they'll touch.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. I mean, recording history and has, I mean, been there forever. I mean, there's ancient cave writings of things being recorded. So it seems like if you're going to do a movie about generations and family history and that kind of thing and not being forgotten, that they would have to incorporate some kind of you know, record keeping of yourself, I guess you could say, into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. So, well, that was just some of the things that were coming to my mind as we were talking.
Mm-hmm.
We certainly don't know. I do kind of think he'll probably be more of a jerk than a villain or something like that. Maybe he'll be.
I think like jerk. I just think full of himself.
Ego. Yeah.
Ego.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
which, how could you not be? I mean, if you're that,
you know,
revered.
Yeah.
Like every Pixar film lately, I especially remember the Bing Bong thing. Like everyone's always like, who's the secret villain? Who's the secret villain? This guy, but you know, there's not always a secret villain. And I feel like they know that's been done so often. I mean, even Disney, not non-Pixar, has been doing it, even up to Frozen, Big Hero 6, and so many releases before that. Pixar has done it a couple times with Up and Monsters Inc., but not so many. And I don't think they're going there. They've done that so many times between the two studios.
Yeah, it almost felt like they did like, here's the bell curve, like the phase of it.
Yeah.
Like it was like, you know, okay, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. All of a sudden, oh, surprise, villains. And then it was kind of tapering off a little bit. But we shall see.
We shall.
Speaking of monsters and your MU hat, there was a scene in this trailer that mirrored an MU scene. Did it stand out to either one of you?
Well, would you
specifically like MU? No, but I have
specifically MU, and it's at time
about it.
Yeah, I wrote it down because
no.
And Dan, can you see the screen share once we started that real quick?
Sure can.
Okay,
so go to time mark 139.
Might be
Oh,
different.
I'm glad we're digging in because I haven't, like I said, I haven't really gone frame by frame or shot by shot. So
yeah, so we'll start doing this. But so was it after?
It's after this. Keep going.
Okay.
130. Right here.
Oh! You're talking about the water in the background.
Specific scene, the way it's lit, the colors of the scene. What part of MU does that?
Oh, the lake scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they're in like after they go to the human world.
Okay.
Or
I think
even a similar scene is also a lake scene. It was The Good Dinosaur when they're drawing in the sand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but it was, for some reason, it was MU that stuck out to me. And what I love about this scene is, keep the hat on the ground.
Okay.
The light that's reflecting off that green like jug.
Yep. Okay. So over here on the side.
The light that's catching on the metal rim of the hat.
The hat, right.
And the phrase in the top of the hat.
Oh, the phrase.
Yeah, the phrase. Like the frame.
Phrase, like
a
phrase.
word.
I'm looking at the wording. I'm like, what? Gotcha. The phrase, not the P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, this scene stuck out to me the most.
Oh, it's a beautiful shot, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It just reminded me of that really poignant scene between Mike and Sully, and you know how like emotional that was when you kind of come to feel like that there's some things you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like their conversation that Hector and Miguel were having was kind of mirrored that a bit.
It's like a poignant moment. You can kind of see they have serious expressions. That definitely looks like a conversational scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that.
An important one too. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to go back to the screen share for a minute because I actually also wanted to talk about this. So since we're here, cool that he's interacting with the background there, like that he's always pushing that bird cage out of the way. But is that full of light bulbs?
Something like, yeah.
It sure looks like them, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what
their version of light bulbs is.
Why do they have all these light bulbs? Wait a minute, are they potentially like, oh, so we know at one point in the movie he might be playing music. Is this before they go on stage? Like, is that like a cage of light bulbs in case like for like if they want to, you know, put them in around the side of like the stage lighting or anything? Because he's handing them a guitar.
Yeah, something I just thought of. Miguel talks about how he wishes at the beginning of the trailer that he wishes people could hear him. Forgot the quote. But
yeah, besides you, Dante.
Yeah, I wonder if in that world he'll get the chance to you know, play his music and have people hear him and not have to be afraid to hide it.
Well, the trailer ends with that.
Yeah, we get to see him strumming a big note in front of the crowd.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So that's where I was thinking maybe like he's on the stage and like that's where those light bulbs were for, is there's like a pack of them behind there and like, you know, they might have like a rim of lights or something like that they could grab one and screw it in real quick if one burned out or something.
Yeah, I just hadn't thought of it in the sense that he gets to do what he wanted to do down there. I wonder if like he likes it down there. Like I wonder if he'll grow attached to being in that land, and if he's trying to, you know, they know that he can't stay down there. They want to bring him back to where he's supposed to be in the real world. But of course, Miguel, I'm sure, wants to take his love for music with him, and then hopefully you know, obviously the movie could be ending with a newfound appreciation for music and the curse being broken or whatever it is, that he can live almost this life in the real world that he was living in the world of the dead, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. I love the fact, by the way, in this, like, I'm assuming with the posters of like Ernesto, that this is like his like mansion or house or something, because he's got the guitar pool.
Yeah, in the living room.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that was kind of like an outside courtyard, but that is that like a big inside, almost like a ballroom type place?
Could be.
So I have a theory on what this building is designed after.
Okay.
A real building in Mexico City.
Okay.
But I'll get to it because I have a time mark.
His hands are like fully skeletal too.
Okay, so yes, so that's actually interesting. I thought originally he might have been wearing gloves, but you know, we saw his finger start to do the conversion already earlier.
So that's probably near the end of the film then, after he's almost been fully transformed.
It would seem like that, because I was actually noticing in this scene, he has his regular hands. They're not skeletal hands.
Mm-hmm.
So it would definitely make it seem like his transition, he's hanging on out in the land of the dead a little too long, and maybe he's, because like right here, it looks like just his fingertips are white. So the transition is probably still starting at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he does grow attached to it? Do you think that he starts to maybe not want to go back?
Ooh, yeah, I think he probably does, because he's able to do what he wants there.
Right. And
yeah,
he wants to bring that hope with him.
Yeah,
and I don't know how that all goes down, because obviously at the end, you know that his family, I'm sure, will learn to accept the music aspect of Miguel's life. But getting there and how that transpires from the land of the dead to the real world, you know, how that connection works between the two will be interesting to see, because I have a feeling that's going to be part of the conclusion and part of the epilogue. It's just getting to that point.
Yeah. So Sophie's Kingdom, Land of the Dead, dead light bulbs. Maybe they are. Maybe they're all dead light bulbs. So Esther, I'm excited. You guys are excited. Thanks, Esther.
Yeah, we're excited.
Excited to have you here. So that's Sophie's Kingdom. Whoa, his hands in that shot.
Okay, so I want to talk about a couple time marks that I wrote down in my notes.
I'll also note real quick, just because we're talking about the hands, not to interrupt you, but just so we can go past that too. We'll also show this shot, but Aidan Duncan also talks about the fact that when he's falling in the water, his hands are skeletal as well. Which
I can't wait to talk about the water scene, because holy crap, that was a surprise.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so
time mark 142.
It'll be a little probably after. Is it in this area?
Yes, it's right after this.
Okay. By the way, how cool is that you can see like the like see-through elements of his skin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of stretchy.
Really? Yes.
Keep going.
So awesome. Okay.
Okay, right here.
Like back?
Yeah, it was
this building.
The building. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this building, there's two buildings in Mexico that are like that, but the one that it reminds me of is the Opera House. I hope I'm saying this right. The Bellas.
Where are we looking?
Bellas Artes Opera House in Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
That it reminds me of that.
More like Baez.
You
know, the end concert scene almost looks to be in there through those windows.
I believe this is where Ernesto de la Cruz lives, but I think some research was like drafted from this opera house in Mexico City.
I don't know how well this is gonna. Oh, that's cool. I mean, we knew that like.
I know, but when I saw it, I was like, gosh, I think I've seen that building before.
Awesome. So it definitely has some musical ties here for sure, because, and this is probably going to be really hard to see, but Dan, do you see where the mouse is moving?
Sure. Yeah.
So that is a light that's hanging from there, but the top of this is like a music.
That's
symbol.
true. I can see it. Yeah.
So of course it's bringing, Pixar bringing that real elements into the world. And so I'm assuming if this has musical elements, this is probably, you're right, where Ernesto lives. And we could probably zoom in on some of this other stuff and see if there's other things that are in there, but I just happen to see that. And I'm like a staff symbol. By the way, what did you guys think about this part?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really clever that he wanted a picture taken with him.
He just takes his head off like a little selfie, but he can still take the picture.
He can still take the picture.
Oh my gosh, do you know how many times I would love to do that? Because when you give your camera to somebody else, I'm even stopping sharing this for a second. The number of times that we are out somewhere, because I usually take most of the photos. I'm not in a lot of them.
No.
And so if I could actually compose my own photo, when we have somebody that's like, if we're out somewhere and I'm like, can you take a picture of us? I will hand them the camera. I will take a picture with like her standing there and show them, frame it just like this.
And their sign is not just pictures of me.
Well, yeah, there's still some of you. But yeah, I try to get as crazy, because whenever like somebody else grabs it, they put your head like at the bottom and there's all this headroom. It makes zero sense.
Yeah, well, he's very particular.
Yeah.
Me too. So this is off the rails. I'm sorry, but we are the exact same way, because when you go as couples places, you go to Disney World or wherever, like you want to take others that aren't just selfies, so you have a variety. And so you'll ask a person. One time we were standing in front of the castle, and I asked someone to take a picture of us, and it's the same thing. It was like a weird angle down below. We were like looking down at it, and my head looked all distorted. It was so awkward looking. And I'm like, no, delete. And then I asked another person, and after that person walked away, I'm like, oh yeah, thank you, but no. Then the next person, it was like all like off to one side, really weird, and you couldn't see any. It took me like 4 people to even get a decent shot. So I totally relate. That happens all the time.
And speaking of cameras and camera work, what did you guys think of the handheld camera movements?
Okay, I'm going to that, because that is my favorite shot.
It's prior to this.
Yeah, that's my favorite shot right here.
That.
So yeah, they right here.
Yep.
So when he sees him, you can see that this is supposed to be like a POV, a point of view camera for Miguel, and you can see people clutching their chests. This guy, so she's got her hand there. This
out of focus. It's just your eye is leading directly.
Yeah, not only is it framed coming right in, I'm like motioning.
Yeah, I know.
Like people can see my hands. But yeah, it's like it leads right in to Ernesto. And just when it does that, the handheld shot, I love it. Yeah. They've done it a couple times. They did it. Blue Umbrella was the first one. I got to talk to a couple people about, how
Good Dinosaur had
the technology, Good Dinosaur, Inside Out, where Riley jumps down off the curb as she's going to school for the first day. So they use it sparingly, which is good, because it would be overused if not. But this feels like such a great spot for it. It's lower. It's him coming through the crowd at his height. You get to see his, oh my gosh, he's feeling that.
Yeah. Okay. Now stop sharing for a second.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on seeing Ernesto de la Cruz for the first time in the Land of the Dead? So this is your first time seeing him as a skeleton.
He was in one other, wasn't he in one other shot?
No. I don't think so.
The Coco.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
There was one in one of the other trailers where they're walking together from it's the camera's panning from right to left.
I don't think so.
Talk amongst
you
yourselves.
just challenged TJ. He's gonna go for it now.
I know. I don't think so. Well, Dan, what were your thoughts if I'm wrong?
I hadn't thought much of it. I knew that we hadn't seen much, if any, of him, but it didn't really cross my mind too much. There was the guy at the beginning with the hat where the whatever her name is, the shoe slapper.
Yeah.
What's her name?
That is which grandmother is that?
That's I can't say.
Abuelita.
Abuelita. Yeah. That's just his grandmother.
So that guy with that hat, that's a character that stood out, even though it was very brief, because the Tsum Tsums were revealed, and he's actually one of them in that costume, that same outfit. So I'm wondering if he's like one of the main players, at least at the beginning of the movie, because he has merchandise. So
he has merchandise.
Well, one of the Tsum Tsums is
I think it's probably his. I think he's probably just like a generic like mariachi band.
Yeah, actually,
player.
I took it as it was Ernesto de la Cruz.
Not with Miguel that same age. Right here.
No. The Tsum Tsum. I saw the Tsum Tsum that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought it was like a different.
I just saw like the blue hat and the blue outfit. I just thought that I have it on. I don't know. That was the one. I'm like, oh, it's the Tsum Tsum guy. But
yeah, because correct me. What is Ernesto de la Cruz? What's his outfit when he's doing his big dance with all the stuff and he's going up like the stairs?
Is he in a blue outfit too?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think that's Ernesto de la Cruz.
Then maybe it's him, because I just saw the blue hat that looked like that, and I thought I was that guy.
Okay.
Well, I didn't get to dive in very much.
Got it.
Yeah. I love the Miguel Tsum with the skeleton face and the hood up. There's also a Funko Pop that was revealed, that same one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's on my. I had tweeted it out.
I saw the Tsum Tsum one.
Yeah, and the Funko Pops, there's 3. I think there was De La Cruz, there was Hector, and there was skeletal face Miguel with the hood.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. Just so you know, TJ's looking at the international trailer now, and I know he's wrong.
The international trailer shows a lot, though.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, this was the first time we saw Ernesto de la Cruz in the land of the dead.
Somebody else help me out here. No way.
Yes. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I think he just found it.
This part right here.
Oh man!
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hang on. I'm gonna share my screen. Hang on.
Okay, full.
Shush.
I was certain.
All right, hang
international trailer.
So Dan, do you go ahead and see that?
That would be him.
Yeah, that's.
But that's definitely not. Wait, so is he seen in the land of the living too? Then does it show him back when he was alive?
No,
we've seen him alive.
Well,
yeah, this is the guy. Go to the blue, the guy with the blue.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's just the.
I think this is that same mariachi guy that he's handing him the guitar, and this is where he'll probably start playing, and this is where
can't tell you.
His grandma probably runs up, and that's when she's like, "No music, don't be giving him a guitar." Is what I think that is.
Yeah, I can't.
Because the Tsum here is not a skeletal face with the blue hat. It's a normal flesh tone face.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that Tsum Tsum is not going to be that guy.
Wow.
I promise you.
Now, wait a minute. You just promised us that we had never seen Ernesto de la Cruz.
Well, I just want to know who this guy is because he's not a skeleton. So I'm like, who is this? If we don't see him,
man.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see the Hector one, and I see the Mama Coco. I see the Dante one. Oh man, now it's gonna bug me. I guess I'm gonna have to wait 2 months to find out.
Yeah.
But can I? Is this with the merchandise a little tie-in right now? Can I share some breaking news to the fans out there who are in the chat?
Please.
Yes.
So people
share it with me. I'm curious.
Yeah. So people who are saying, I just saw a couple of comments about just our Coco merch and the Disney Store stuff, and I asked permission if I could share this because I found out today, and they said that they're keeping things less secret. I guess there was backlash about keeping things so secret about the Disney Store stuff. So it's okay. But the Coco merch release date is very surprising to me. Let's have a guess at what it could be.
Okay, I'm going to take a guess. I am going to guess September 19th.
Okay.
Me too. October 3rd.
Tuesday or something?
Yeah, because it's always on a Tuesday, right?
So the merchandise release for Coco, and I don't think I've seen this anywhere else, is October 23rd.
What?
Very late in the game with only a week until Halloween. Blows my mind because they have a full month that they would be excited about that. So there you go. Breaking news, October 23rd, Coco merch release at the Disney Store.
Wow. Well, because that's only like a week until it world premieres in Mexico. Gosh, we have to wait that long?
Yeah, because world premiere in
Mexico.
Mexico the 27th.
October 27th.
October 27th. Merch prior to that on the 23rd. We get it on November 22nd. And then obviously the Day of the Dead right at the beginning of November there. Wow.
Well, anyway, I was excited to share that. And this
that's awesome.
That is very exciting. Thank you for sharing that news. Now,
Yeah.
you guys know where to go.
That's quite the exclusive, Dan.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing.
All the exclusives these days. So.
Yes. So Jeremy says, "Are you kidding?" Other people are saying, "Oh man." I think, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I think like a movie like Cars, where they might want to release that earlier, it's because that's naturally just going to sell right off the shelf from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There could be the purpose being that you put it out right before the film hits, at least from a Mexican release,
Mm-hmm.
and after or right before the holiday, it might spark more interest than it's been sitting on the shelf and it's a shelf warmer by the time the movie comes out.
Yeah.
Cars is going to sell itself. You know, that merch, moms will come in, dads will come in and just be like, "Oh, Lightning McQueen, cool." A skeleton, you might need to be closer to the movie to see a tie to the product in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Might. I don't know.
I think you're on the right path, because speaking of things that will just sell off the shelf and having that time months in advance for people to buy stuff with established properties, perfect example, we just set the stage on Sunday for the Olaf's Frozen Adventure merchandise, which just came out, and that is obviously coming out the same day as Coco, and yet that's on the shelves a month and a half before Coco stuff.
Yeah, Frozen.
Because it sells already.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that just proves your point right there. But I'm just, at least I would have thought maybe October 2nd or 3rd or somewhere at the beginning, so you at least have the month of people having skeletons on the mind, or, you know, Halloween or that kind of thing. And then with, you know, going into so close to November, even with the movie release, I'm kind of worried, because at that point, it's like Christmas is on everybody's minds, you know? So, I mean, that's also a worry for me as well.
That's right, because when do you guys do Christmas setups? Like right then?
So those will be like right after Halloween, so like right at the beginning of November.
Wow.
We already have our ornaments out. The ornaments hit the stage on Sunday, so.
Yeah. Ornaments have been out tons of places between Hallmark, and you pointed out some of the ones that were at Walmart, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's been lots that's been coming out there already too. But Rachel's also pointing out that not only the merch, but they released 3 Olaf songs already.
Oh, did they? I haven't seen those.
I actually haven't either.
I thought I heard like one, like a snippet of one. But I see that Pixar Fan Forever is asking, do you think there's going to be an Easter egg for Pixar's suburban fantasy movie? And I do not.
No, it would be Incredibles 2 would be the one that
would be the next
one that they probably would lead to. Yeah, I don't think they're going to throw anything. I mean, it's always a possibility.
But Dan Scanlon's film, the suburban fantasy film, doesn't even have a date yet. So you still have Incredibles 2 and then Toy Story 4.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a prediction. What about like some little kid in the background in like a luchador Mr. Incredible like superhero outfit?
It could, I mean, it certainly could. It's probably going to be, I mean, this is one of those movies.
I think it's going to be the raccoon. Sorry.
Or the raccoon. Very well could be. I mean, Hank was in the bottom of the pond in The Good Dinosaur, so they do like doing like the kind of the creatures.
That's a great idea.
Well, and the raccoon could fit into Mexico, like easily, like going through, you know, trash or whatever. I mean, you can find raccoons in our backyard. So I think it's just, I don't know.
You heard it here.
Yeah, if that's the case.
Yeah, don't take my word for it now that I like totally.
It's on record now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
missed it with Ernesto de la Cruz.
Never seen Ernesto de la Cruz.
Yeah. That was like.
Let her live that one down for.
I know. Gosh, that's so embarrassing.
Hey, she's not letting herself live it down.
I know I'm not.
To Julia's defense, it was the international trailer, and they show everything.
That's true.
I don't even watch the international trailers because they show too much. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting, the merch and all that kind of stuff. People are talking about, so you want to start, because we already started talking about Olaf's. Is this the transition to talk a little bit about Olaf's?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. And then I've got a couple more things I want to talk about, especially the scanner scene where they're scanning those people's
let's
faces.
finish talking about Coco first.
All right, we'll continue. We'll save the Olaf until the end.
Scanning stuff, because I watched it and that part went by so fast for me. I didn't really dive back into that. I wanted to hear your thoughts.
Okay, well, before you guys talk, because I know about this.
I want to hear what Julie has to say.
Yeah. Before you guys talk, the scanner scene is awesome.
Okay.
That's all I can say. It's really awesome. It's really
that's all you're gonna tell me.
It's really awesome. It's really creative. It's like all I can say.
Okay, well, going off of that, because it's kind of like on the same page, a note that I have here is how amazing the world building is going to be in this movie, especially after the comments about kind of taking inspiration from Monsters, Inc., which I think was like the first and definitive like Pixar world building movie type. I mean, Bugs Life did it a bit with their underground tunnels and stuff, but Monsters, Inc. and the rules of that world totally just like set the standard, not only for Pixar, but like so many companies tried to emulate that after and still do. Like you see the Emoji Movie and many of these other studio films that try to emulate that world building that Inside Out did perfectly, and that, you know, Cars has done, and Monsters, Inc. And I love seeing Pixar world building and how clever they can be. And that's just a perfect example of like where it's going and why I'm so excited for that.
Yeah. And you speak about like world building and stuff. The scanner thing is it's a good story point.
So just a quick.
That's all I'll say.
That's cool. Just a quick note too. So Esther is also mentioning in that international trailer, if you haven't seen it, they have there's
another part totally forgot about.
What's that? The international? Like,
yeah, another image of Ernesto de la Cruz in the Land of the Dead.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Oh man!
Hold on, I gotta share this. This is good. So
are you still looking for shots?
No.
No, we found, or someone pointed it out to us.
So Dan, do you see this one again?
Yeah.
So okay, so I'll pull this full screen. So you've got a full. You said it was also the.
I know.
The full screen. But
I forgot about the international.
There's also historical Mexican figures in here. So I believe it's this guy that is I have to look it up again. I don't recall them off the top of my head, but it's Pablo Infante, I think, is one of them. There's a Pedro Infante. There's a whole bunch of them that are in there. I actually do need to look those up again before I forget. Or if somebody else wants to put them in the chat, feel free. But yeah, there's a lot that's out there too. But I want to go back to the trailer because I want to go to that scanning scene because it is incredible, and there's one element of it that I want to talk about. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm assuming this is keeping track of, and again, you can't really say too much.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, so I'm assuming this is keeping track of like who's going to visit family, and do you have somebody that is waiting for you? It's just kind of my first thought. Dan, any thoughts on that?
Like I said, I wasn't able to really put any thought into this. I was actually a little bit confused on what it was. I knew it was clever just from looking at it, but I didn't dive into it. It reminded me of like airport security, like going through x-rays.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's funny seeing all the points on the face. It's almost like Apple really did their press event yesterday. It's like their new face
scanning technology.
Yeah, the Face ID, so you can like unlock the phone with your face. So it's really cool. But what I want to talk about though is notice in this area there's a counter. So we've got 41,414. And then once they get approved, and
which I love because it's got my favorite number in it, 414.
14.
Oh, I see. So you just switched it back and forth. So they show the original.
So it's their original photo.
Yes, and then they have to match it up to them to make sure it's
there it is. There it is. It's the ofrenda table. They have to see if there's a photo of them to know if they're able to go.
To see if they're remembered.
Yes. And notice that now that they're approved, the ticker went up 2 more. So now it's 41416 instead of 41414.
Stop broadcasting or stop the.
Okay, hang on. Yes.
Don't say too much.
Well, that's a good idea. That's all. I guess I won't say anything, but that's a good idea.
Good thinking, TJ.
Good thinking.
There you go. So, so yes, and actually, Jeremy is actually pointing out that Sophie's Kingdom says it's like customs. Yes, absolutely. It's like TSA for passage between the two worlds. Jeremy said it looks like there's a skull in the control panel.
It does, and there's actually so many of those like references that they used for design.
So yeah, right in this area, that's a definite skull.
Yeah, and you can see them like next.
Yep, they're all across here.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the amazing, as we're all talking about that world building and keeping it, you know, and bringing in those elements that just add the extra oomph to the town.
Now, while we're still on this, okay, what do you guys think about the painted skulls?
Oh, with them having like the
you notice everyone has, you know, paint, just like, you know, like the sugar skulls.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts? Everyone in the chat too. I'm curious
like
to see your
why
thoughts.
it is, or just overall thoughts of the design.
Yeah. Do you like what do you guys think about it?
Well, it almost seems like, obviously your bones don't have that, so obviously it's put on within the world. So it's, I don't know if it's kind of like their version of tattoos or their version of makeup, but the guys have it too. It's some form of obviously decorating themselves there in the land of the dead. I don't know. I don't know why it's done or if it's even explained. I just know that it's based on obviously the designs of the holiday, which is
so that's why it's carried through over there.
Yeah.
But I wonder like what the reason is for them putting it on themselves, or however it's done in that world, or if they even touch on that.
Yeah, so when I was at the Pixar press event, one of the most interesting things when we learned there were so many interesting facts and everything that we learned. But I mean, I was like sitting there just like, oh my gosh, like just listening to everything, because I just find this film really fascinating. But I loved hearing the details that went in, and the like the reference, all the run-throughs they did to do all the painting on the skulls. They did some where, you know, it's around the mouth, and that kind of distracted from dialogue if some characters had, you know, strong dialogue or a lot of dialogue, if there was paint around their mouths and stuff. But we noticed that character, and she had very bright eyes. But you'll notice some are very muted. And, you know, same with their bones. Some bones are going to look very white, and some bones are going to be kind of yellowy, brown, and dingy. Like if you look at Hector, he looks really old. But if you notice, like Miguel's skeleton hands are pure white, like snow.
That's true.
So just kind of keep an eye on that. Just look at
so
that.
it's I mean, like anything else, is that essentially the aging of it, like it would be for an actual bone? You know,
yeah. So I think like a fresh with the paint kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it would have more. It would have more pigment in it, and it would be brighter if it were a more. You've been there sooner than somebody that had been there for a long time. It would be more of a muted color.
Yeah, I was just curious to hear your thoughts, if you got what you guys thought about it.
So it is painted on them, like once they pass over, it's like some kind of ritual maybe that they get their.
I think it's just there. Yeah, I think it just like appears kind of, you know, just kind of like the Dia de los Muertos, like sugar skulls. Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just there.
Yeah.
Also, something just as far as the story goes, wasn't it said back in the original short synopsis of before we even really knew anything about this film, didn't it call it a mystery? I'm pretty sure that he had defined it as a mystery.
Yeah, I don't
remember. I remember a musical at one point.
I remember that too, but for some reason I'm thinking I thought it was that they had used the term mystery, and I'll have to find it. But if that's the case, like Pixar has never done like a straight up mystery where there's questions and surprises at every turn. They've done their twists and they've done their villain reveals and things like that, but they've never done a mystery of trying to solve something in that sense. And if I'm right, and I'll have to look it up after, but I would love to see that, because I hope I'm not kind of like piecing everything together. I would love there to be a very unexpected aspect or multiple unexpected aspects of this movie that really just, you know, turn it on its head for me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'll have to look that up though, because I would love to see Pixar try to pull off like a mystery genre, I guess, because they love experimenting with genres, as John Lasseter says.
So anyway. I see people talking about Pepita, and we haven't gotten to her yet.
You're right. So let's talk about that as well.
What did you guys think?
So okay,
I've seen her.
First off, Dakarian Brooks is saying, I hope they have one in the Disney store. So stay tuned to Dan, the Pixar fan. He'll let you know.
Oh yeah, Dan. Do you think we're gonna get a plush Pepita?
I has to, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the flying thing.
The flying thing.
Oh, for sure. They already have plush Skylers from Elena, which looks kind of similar.
Oh, and you're right. Yeah.
You can almost, I can almost 100% guarantee that is their merchandise pull for this movie. That is going to be that creature, because very little of this movie is marketable as far as toys and plush go, because it's mostly skeletons. But that's going to be a big one for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like you really get the scale of how large Pepita is.
Right here. There's Dante right next.
And I love the animation is so kind of surreal. It's like glowing. It's fluorescent.
Oh my gosh! I'm so glad you talked about this.
Okay, so get one more good look at it.
It's not the lighting. He's lighting from almost within.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Stopping sharing.
Yeah.
Let loose.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you are talking about that you asked about that or whatever. But when I spoke with I believe it's Byron Bashforth, and he is one of the shading supervisors. And I asked him, if he and his team worked closely with the lighting department, because Pepita has like an inner glow. It's a little bit different from the Inside Out characters that have that like glow within.
Because they emitted light from them. They were almost like a light source as well.
Yeah, where Pepita, it's kind of like, her color is part of her. It's
is it a she?
Yeah, so what Byron had shared is that there's always lights on the, how do you say them?
So it's right here.
Yeah.
Alibrahis.
No, you're saying it wrong. No, you're saying it wrong, because that's not Alahebres. No, it's hard for me to say. Anyway, the spirit guides.
We really got to get better, and I apologize.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not good at pronouncing, I guess, the Spanish words, but
I can't even roll my tongue, so you're doing a great job.
Thanks. So each of those spirit guides all have lights on. They all have a light on them. It's just the light either gets brighter or dimmer when they enter a scene. And Pepita has such a glow to her that it was multiple departments that worked on her to get her to be that powerful. And especially her design. She has chicken back feet or eagle talons on her back feet, like jaguar paws, jaguar head, but ram horns and like eagle wings, and she's massive.
So people are putting in the comments
Alibrahis. No,
Alibrahis.
No, it's wrong. That's not how people were saying it when I was there. It sounded so much smoother.
Alibrahis.
So did they have to do? I know it's different from the Inside Out characters, like you mentioned, but did they have to incorporate any new technology or techniques to pull that off, or was it more straightforward? Did they touch on that at all?
They touched on like the lighting for the Land of the Dead. When I spoke with Daniel Feinberg, there's like so many lighting stuff that they had to do, but not so much for Pepita. What I found interesting was the skeletons, when they had to dress them, they had to like fill certain parts with air and simulated pillows and stuff. When I wrote a post, when they making the skeletons come alive. Emron Grover had explained that to us. That was interesting. That was kind of like a newish technology that they keep working on, but not for lighting Pepita.
Very cool.
Well, fair enough. Oh, and just to circle back just really quick to what I was referring to before. I don't really have anywhere else to go with it except for I just wanted to confirm this. So way back in 2015, the very first synopsis, the first little paragraph was, Coco is the celebration of a lifetime where the discovery of a generations-old mystery leads to a most extraordinary and surprising family reunion. So I think that's where I got it from.
Right.
And I really hope that lives up to that phrasing there, because
very cool.
Okay, I just want to throw that out because that was bugging me.
So Diego and friends, ele brihe, ele brihes,
I'm not even gonna try. There's no way.
ele brihes.
So I'm gonna be no help in that sense.
This is gonna make
that
me.
That sounds closer.
I took some Spanish before. I'm gonna take it again. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna learn it again because of this movie.
I know hola. I know señor. I know adios. I know señorita. I know. Oh, my brother-in-law, when I was a teenager, taught me hola, señorita bonitas. Flirt with, and that was about it.
Nice.
So that's the extent.
Okay, so let's get to the water.
Well, hang on, because somebody else had asked the question, and I believe it was so Decarion.
See, I got it. Esther said I was right.
There you go.
See, I knew you were wrong. You were saying it weird. I'm like, that's not how they were pronouncing it when I was there.
Wait, so what's the right way?
Yeah, go ahead and say it again.
Ele brihe. Ele brihes.
I'm gonna try.
Ele brihes.
Okay. I love it.
Someone confirm in the comments if Julie is right. If you're a Spanish speaker.
Well, they did. They said Julie got it right.
All right. Well, congrats.
So, okay. So the question is, though.
Alabrijes.
The question is, though, with
we're so bad.
With Miguel. So you see Miguel running here, and Isael and Decarion are asking, is Pepita trying to track down and take out Miguel in some way?
Okay, so we know that
it's a fiercely loyal spirit guide
to Mama Imelda,
which is the one that put the ban on music.
And we know Miguel is carrying a guitar.
So she wants him out of there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fiercely loyal.
Fiercely loyal.
And we've got a lot of confirmations now that you're pronouncing it pretty good.
Yes. And we're going to Disney World soon, and I'm going to buy one because I am obsessed with all this now.
The artwork is really cool.
Mm-hmm. We're going to go to Epcot in the Mexican Pavilion, and I learned all about it, that there's a certain family that does them, and they're one of the families that they referenced. So
yeah, we'll talk about the water here in just a second. So Pixar Fan Forever is asking both Dan and myself and us if we think that the Blu-ray for this will be out in February. It's a little bit ahead. It'll kind of depend on what it does in the theaters. But I would say that Good Dinosaur was that February timeframe.
But that was also the soonest a Pixar film has ever been released.
Yeah.
A really rare case, not only for a Pixar movie, but for any movie to be released. What is that? December. It was 3 months.
Right.
It was actually, I think it ended up being a hair under 3 months because technically it was in February, but before the release day.
Right.
The original release day of November. So like you said, it really depends on how it does. If it doesn't perform maybe as well as they are expecting, you could see maybe an earlier release like that.
Right.
Typically, though, you're looking at March or April.
Right. That'd be about the standard there.
Right. So
4 months.
We'll see.
Yep. I'm just gonna go out on a ledge and I'll make my prediction. I'm gonna say April.
Okay.
So okay, let's talk water because you want to talk this scene, Julie.
Yes, this scene surprised me. I don't really know a context of it. I guess the only context that I would say is, seeing, artwork of the Land of the Dead and knowing that it's kind of structurally built on, it's like the Aztec ruins, and it gets more modern, as the buildings go upward. There's water by these Aztec ruins that the marigold bridges are going over. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, seeing Miguel fall, and then there's kind of like a stone rock wall, and you can see like skeletal faces in them. That's my only reference of where this could be, as he is fallen down somewhere. I have maybe a thought of what area he is, just from artwork I saw at the studio, in the upstairs of Steve Jobs atrium, or not the Steve Jobs building.
Yeah.
Where
they do the upstairs,
yeah,
right.
where you can't talk about it or take photos where I've seen some artwork that kind of makes me think part of the story that this is at.
I have a prediction for the story at that point. That looks, to me, that looks like a third act image. He has his skeleton fingers. It looks like after he had been being chased by the fierce loyal thing, what's it called?
Pepita.
Pepita. Maybe after being chased off by that, after some kind of action sequence, this almost seems like that third act lowest point, almost like Joy in the memory dump.
Yes, absolutely.
Where he was chased off, he fell down to into this cavern, and he needs to rethink a few things and kind of soul search down there and try to find his way out.
Mm-hmm. That's probably a great comparison,
yeah,
as far as from a story standpoint. I could definitely see that. People are talking about that the water is
drink.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. I mean, it's really pretty.
So Isael's saying that he saw concept art of that set in the water from Paulina, because that was some of that was at D23 at the expo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was about to go down to the box office and predictions and comments like that, but I'm still gonna hang on. Do we have anything else that we wanted to touch on here? So Miguel falling in the water, Pepita. We didn't talk about like kind of the comedic relief moment with the eyes falling to the mouth.
Oh yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Our son actually, he laughed at that part.
Oh, that's definitely that's definitely comedic gold there.
Yeah. Oh, you passed it.
Well, there's so many. Obviously, there's so many gags. I'm sure they sat around their gag table or room or story room or whatever you call it, and just like threw out all sorts of gags you could possibly do with skeletons, and then put in the best ones. Obviously.
Yeah,
but I can totally picture them having a ball with that.
This is essentially the equivalent of Pez Cat in Toy Story of Terror.
Oh! Yeah.
Exactly, which you loved.
I do.
I love that too.
So, anything else that we're missing?
Go back to the girls dancing in the street.
By the way, there's another Pepita shot. And how cool is this? We gotta dissect this and really go into this as well and see if there's anything else that's in here.
Dude, so every shot is so dense with so many details and characters and set design, and I mean,
it's just layered so beautifully.
Mind blowing. Like I can't even fathom the details that are in this movie, and how like you can literally study each frame of this movie probably for years if you wanted to go through it. Like there is that much.
Well, and look at all like the render time that had to happen on this between the lighting. There's a billion of these light bulbs. There's the marigold, the marigold petals falling, the dress movement, the colors, the illumination of everything. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second because there's been several comments that have been, people are like, this doesn't feel like a Pixar film. That detail is exactly why it feels like a Pixar film.
Oh,
100% agree.
Oh, for people who say it doesn't feel like a Pixar film, I'm telling you, from the first 30 seconds in the storytelling, right off the bat, it is a Pixar film.
Mm-hmm.
This is a stunning film. Like I said, I have never gone into a Pixar film being so excited.
From the first teaser trailer, it felt like a Pixar film. It had that Ratatouille vibe. It had like the timeless vintage cassette tape and the old black and white footage, kind of like The Incredibles or Ratatouille. Like that first 5 seconds felt like a Pixar film to me. The way that they capture cultures, the detail, the emotion, I don't know. I think that that opinion might change once the film is out.
Yep. So I think the only thing that I don't feel like we touched on, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because now we're talking a long time on this, but it's still exciting. I loved the animation at this beginning with Dante running up the steps.
Mm-hmm.
I just absolutely loved, how he's interacting with these bricks. I have to. I mean, I got to think that these were animated as well. There's really no other. Like, could they do this another way? And then how he pushes the pallets over and everything.
Do you guys remember what kind of dog he is?
Oh yes, a Zolo dog.
Right. Yeah. I don't.
Xolo.
Yeah. Right.
Xolo Esquinte.
I say it in the least Spanish way possible, but
Solo. Yeah. And really, like, this is the thing. This was a comment from Brendan in the forum that he talked about the fact that he really loved how this started. You talked about it at the beginning, Julie. The fact that it started so slow, let the characters narrate the intro.
So quiet.
So quiet. Yes, that is awesome. And then you get of course, you get already the introduction of the comedy of his tongue being a total like crazy appendage.
Which
there'll probably be a plush of him too.
Oh, you're darn right there will.
Oh,
With the tongue hanging out, you need the tongue.
Oh yeah, the tongue better be hanging out.
Yeah, and we actually learned that this breed of dog, they actually are prone to losing their teeth. So when they lose like their teeth, especially the bottom teeth and stuff, that's why their tongue sticks out so far.
Ah. But yeah, look at that. So you're like 16 seconds in. It's definitely just the two of them talking, or Miguel talking to Dante.
Yeah.
But I love this guitar that he's made and pieced together. I love the Foley work of the audio here as he's doing it, as he's moving that up. I can just hear myself tuning my guitar like in the background when this is happening.
Oh my gosh.
And then
stress on the wood.
The frets made out of nails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so cool.
The paint and
the
obvious wearing and tearing of it.
Yeah, and then we know that we saw another trailer that he pulls out like a Sharpie type marker type and does that.
They show it in this. There's a little bucket.
Yeah, at the beginning when he comes in.
It's the other one.
Ah,
you can see it better right there in the light.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Yeah, so cool.
Things that weren't ever seen in a previous trailer. This might be one because we had heard about it, but we had never seen the shoe company or the shoe factory or whatever they call it.
It's the family shoe business.
Right, until this trailer. I think this was the first time we saw it, right?
Do I have to go back and show it again?
Yeah.
Because
I do think they show it again.
It's in the international trailer as well.
I didn't watch that one. They show everything, like I said.
Yeah, it's a part where Miguel's on the roof and he's like, "Music is in my blood. I will be a musician." And he's on the roof of that.
Yeah, okay.
So
it was new to me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, so by the way, Sophie's Kingdom. A couple other people have been talking about the fact that cars. We always call it the carification of the world. This is the skullification.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Because he has his skull head on the guitar, and then obviously all that other structure. So are we feel like we're pretty good with that part?
Yeah.
All right. I think I hit what I wanted to.
All right, so let's talk about just talk about the box office for a quick second, and then a touch on Olaf. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on Olaf, but let's at least touch on it. So Isael's asking, do you think Coco will be better than Inside Out? I am not even going to go down that road right now because as much as I love Inside Out, that's probably in my top 3. I'm not even going to go there right now and say, could this unseat that? But
what are your top 3? Hard to say.
Hard to say.
Really hard to say.
Yeah, so Toy Story 2 is my number 1.
I think I'm with you there, even though it's really hard to bring it down to that point. I think, and I've said it several times on here as to why, but I think I'm with you there.
Okay, yep. So that, and then I always even argue with myself on what the second one would be because my next inclination is Wall-E / Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I can't even decide there, but
I was gonna say Ratatouille.
Yeah.
And Monsters Inc. is the very first one is in there for me somewhere in my top 2. I go back.
You're right. It's too hard.
It's too hard.
Between Ratatouille and Monsters Inc. as like my 2 or 3. It's impossible.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off unless you guys feel differently. I'm holding off and saying that I can't say that it's gonna be better. It sure looks gorgeous. It looks amazing. It gives that Inside Out traditional Pixar vibe. So I feel like it's gonna be on par with that movie, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna say it's gonna unseat it for me yet because it'll depend on if I have to try to get a hold of myself in the theater.
Okay. So The Good Dinosaur is the only Pixar film that has literally made me, I mean, Toy Story 3, I cried. I mean, we walked out of that theater looking like someone
Yeah, we've talked about it on one of these hangouts before. Yeah, it looked like we just found out that there was
the worst news ever.
Yes, walking out of Toy Story 3. And, and I told the story where I had to go. I was at a urinal, and I couldn't even stand at the urinal because I couldn't be the guy that was crying at a urinal when another guy walked up next to me and was peeing, and I'm like, so
you know, the way that you respond to this film, some people may think it's better than Inside Out. It just depends on your emotional connection to it, how you feel. There's so many factors. For many, it could unseat Inside Out.
Yeah, you know, that's totally true, Dan, because I have yet to meet anybody or hear anybody say The Good Dinosaur is the film that has made me cry the most. To this day, there's 2 scenes in that film that I will just cry. I mean, like ugly cry.
What'd you say?
I said, I know someone you could talk to if you need to relate. Britta.
Oh, see, bring her in here.
I've seen Britta cry so much in a movie. Probably 3 scenes of complete bawling.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then on a second viewing, usually she's like fine because she knows what's coming. On the second viewing and the third, when we watched it with her parents, she had the same reaction. So like, you might have a friend in her. I don't know.
Well, good. Yeah, she is my friend.
Maybe you might have a friend
like
in
she
her.
is my friend.
I'm not friend with her as in someone you can relate to with The Good Dinosaur, because I think you and her it hit the most.
Oh, yeah. Good. But
so Dakarian's saying that he's got a feeling that Coco is going to be one of his favorites.
Yes, but I think Coco might tie Good Dinosaur for me.
For emotion.
Wow. So, you know what? There's a great comment because we were mentioning Ratatouille, and a lot of people have been talking about that real quick. So, Miraje, Mirage, is it's all the different capital letters. Ratatouille is a movie that makes me feel at home. I think that is a great way to describe that movie. I don't know if you're possibly from Paris, but it does. It has a very even if you're not mentioning that, it just feels so strongly rooted. It's like when I watch that, I feel great.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very at peace when I watch that movie. And then,
sure.
So good question from Gato. He's saying, do you think that a movie about Mexican culture can be successful in the U.S. with the current situation?
Yes. And I think it needs to be.
I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to get bold with my language. Damn right.
Yes.
I think it can, because although there is a portion of the culture that feels a certain way, that is not all of America, by any means, and it's about family and love, and it's about living and dying, and everyone can relate to those things. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I feel like movies with an underdog people say, oh, this is going to affect box office. I remember with the whole drama with Beauty and the Beast and the live action, with everything that went down with that, and all these boycotters and things like that. And then it got into the $1 billion club as far as box office numbers.
Right.
Uh-huh.
We as a nation, we like the underdog, and we root for the underdog. And I think that it won't affect. If anything, it would help the situation.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is, I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew about Dia de los Muertos, this holiday, but it wasn't until, the trailers, and we learned more. Obviously, we run a Pixar site, so we learn about, the next Pixar films. But I have just snowballed into learning everything about, this Mexican holiday, the culture, just so many things, and alejebres. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it's eye-opening, and I think it's so great that a film can, not that my eyes were closed, but help open my eyes and help me learn more about other cultures that I wouldn't have gone out and learned more about. Not that I didn't want to, but it's not like I really knew about. So
I love that.
I think that's a great thing, and I think that's really good for the current status.
Yeah, I just definitely it probably will have some effect. This is obviously, I would say, from a overall standpoint, I don't think this is going to be a movie that's going to be a Finding Dory. It's not going to be that type of it's not going to be that type of draw. It's not a sequel. It doesn't already have that built-in audience that's going to want to come to it. But there's a lot of people that are talking about that it gives people opportunity for perspective and appreciation of the culture. But where I think this movie is going to succeed, I think the word of mouth in this movie, which every film needs. Good Dinosaur suffered from that. It didn't have the word of mouth that it needed. I think this is going to be one of the ones that's going to get the word of mouth, because I think it's going to be a good doubter, and I think it's going to be one of the ones that just goes steady. So we will see where it goes. We could be way wrong, but I think it's going to be one of the ones that's going to help. I said very early on when this movie was announced that I think that this is going to be the movie that brings more of that culture and celebration, especially of the Dia de los Muertos holiday, to American culture, because right now it's really celebrated in pockets throughout the United States. Certainly where we're at we've never seen any celebrations of it. I don't know that it's ever going to be huge, but I think this is one.
We live in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be one that it has the ability to launch that. And we even saw in Target over this last week that they have a much bigger section. They have an actual dedicated Day of the Dead section.
Yeah.
Where they're selling characters that look like they're from this movie and those types of things. I mean, because obviously it's traditional art. It's not that it looks like it's from the movie. It's the traditional art. But like that wasn't there last year.
No.
There's some type of cultural shift that's going on that this holiday, and if marketers are smart, they want another holiday that they can market that people are going to spend more money on. So they're going to continue to push it too. I think it's going to mean a lot to me based on loss that I've experienced. I think it's going to be a slow one that's going to rise, and it's going to keep going because of the word of mouth. I don't think it's going to be Dory level. That's my box office prediction, clearly. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch for anybody, but I think it's going to do pretty darn good.
I know we'll see it a few times. We always do, but this one I'm really excited about.
Where do you think overall where it'll sit, Dan? I do think it'll be, if we're talking like in terms of like Dory on down to Good Dinosaur, I think it will be probably in the maybe half to lower thirds. I think it's going to balance out in that realm, but I think that's perfectly fine for an entry-level film that doesn't have a franchise associated with it.
Okay, so I have a couple of things after all that. First of all, as far as just like it affecting culture, ever since that this movie was announced, I've been so excited to see the effect it has on people celebrating this and making it a little bit more mainstream. And I can't wait to see the impact, to see, people going out and getting the traditional type of party goods to celebrate this type of thing on the actual day here in the United States. I really hope it has that impact. I think that would be so much fun. I have actually even thought of doing a celebration of it after I see and dive into it a little bit more. I think that would just be so much fun to make it a little bit more mainstream. Like I even just went to Michael's a couple of days. We were looking for our Halloween decorations, and they had a whole section based on the holiday and these designs. So it is getting out there, and I think that's really cool and it's really fascinating.
Yeah, we saw one actually last year at like Joann Fabrics that they had a little section.
Yeah,
it definitely felt more. You feel it coming on more and more every year. This is like the perfect timing for this movie.
I think it's great because I think like us as a nation, we should embrace our different cultures.
Right, and Halloween itself obviously stems from so many different cultures and things like that. Like, and so does Christmas. I mean, that doesn't mean that this couldn't become a more celebrated holiday that more people embrace of all cultures or of all nationalities within our nation. As far as the box office goes, I think it's going to be somewhere. So I just looked up Ratatouille opening. So, and I'm again going back to Ratatouille because it's a movie about another culture. It didn't have the sequel draw. It wasn't an established universe already. It was more of their artsy style per se.
Yep.
They're slower, maybe more less marketable, I guess you could say, movie compared to like a Toy Story or Cars. So I'm comparing it to that, and they had a 47.2 million debut, which sounds about right. to me for an opening weekend. As far as gross, Ratatouille had a U.S. gross of 620, and I don't think for U.S. it's going to get that high, but I think Mexico is going to have a huge impact into the worldwide box office, and worldwide, I think it could surpass that for the overall box office numbers. I don't think it's going to be a Good Dinosaur. I don't want to say flop, but maybe a loss or maybe, I don't know what you would call it, but it was definitely less than they probably would have hoped. I don't think it's going to be that low because, like you said, this is going to have, I think, a different word of mouth than the Good Dinosaur had, which is going to help. So I think it's going to be somewhere between Good Dinosaur and Ratatouille.
Yep.
And that's where I'm going to stay. So somewhere in that 40 million range for an opening weekend.
Yep. So Decarian saying, I think Coco's going to be like Moana at the box office. Also, Gato is clarifying that Dia de Muertos. And it's also, we've heard it. So even at the studio, they say it both ways. Yeah. Dia de los Muertos, Dia de Muertos. Isn't a holiday, isn't exactly a holiday. It's more like a tradition. So thank you for clarifying, keeping us honest. But yeah,
one more thought though is that, and I mentioned that concern earlier, is also, and this is where word of mouth is really going to have to help, because I am concerned about everyone's mindset at the end of November, because so many people have moved. It's kind of like with like I can't watch like a Christmas movie in August. I just can't do it. You know,
right.
It just feels weird. And I never watch like a Halloween type movie, you know, in March. It just feels out of place. And since I know this isn't Halloween, but it's very much so that kind of mindset with the dead and the skeleton.
You're right. And how when the decorations come out, because it's November 2nd and it's right after our Halloween, right?
So
like what majority of maybe the audience would be thinking.
So like that is a concern because people have moved on. Their mindsets have moved on to many people have moved on to the holidays, you know, Christmas and all of those winter holiday seasons or holidays, or winter season holidays is what I'm trying to say. Right. So the mindset of where everybody's at in a movie in this type or with this story is a concern with the numbers, and it's really going to have some fantastic.
I think that's why they're selling it as Coco is family, Coco is music, Coco is, you know, like life and all these kind of things.
And I think that's going to help with that too, with the Christmas aspect or the winter feel,
right?
Too, which is probably why they did that, among other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we actually, we think that, you know, we can talk about Coco or the Olaf now, but we were thinking it's because, you know, they put all hands on deck basically and didn't have time to finish a short to be.
So it was the short that was the short in front of it. So the Olaf one was originally going to be the ABC special.
That was going to be on TV.
It was going to be on TV, right.
And I just found out news about that today too. It is going to be on TV.
Yes.
Later, yeah. So
so that's so that was kind of my early prediction that we talked about on one of these hangouts too. I think it was the last one that I think it's actually going to be in theaters for a limited time.
Oh, it is. It even says that on the trailer. It says for a limited time.
It just said for a limited time. So I think it's going to be the first probably 2 to 3 weeks at best, and then then from there it's going to air on TV.
Correct.
So it's interesting. So Olaf's, people were talking, I don't know if this is accurate or not. I don't recall hearing in any of the recordings that you had brought back as far as the length of the film. Somebody said Google is saying that the movie is 76 minutes. No way to confirm that at this point.
Yeah. I didn't ask. They were still working on things, so I did not ask.
Yeah.
I don't remember anyone mentioning it.
Right. If that's the case, then it makes Olaf's a little more palatable as far as for sitting there for 20 minutes. But then there's also the prediction that I had that they're not going to have as many previews.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be basically maybe 1, 2 at best, the theater intro to advertise for the theater, and then Olaf's, and then go from there. Just
Olaf is 22 minutes.
Right. Just a prediction.
I have a hard time feeling, because Toy Story is their shortest film, obviously because of the times and because just the start of computer animation, and so many factors, and that is even 81 minutes. So I would have a hard time buying that one. It's possible, but in this day, that seems a little short. But we'll see.
But you never know. I mean, that could be way off. It's literally just, it was just you know, a Google search is what people were talking about. A couple people have asked, Isael, is this the final trailer for Coco?
I don't think so. I think there's probably gonna be Japanese trailer.
There'll be another international one.
Yeah.
But is this the final North American trailer?
This would be the second full length, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually there's a trailer 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Disney marketing is very consistent with Pixar, even Lucasfilm, Marvel. They have their teaser, they have their trailer 1, trailer 2, and trailer 3 almost every time, and then an international or 2 or 3 in that mix.
I'm sure we'll get a clip or two.
And then a clip or 2,
yeah.
Closer, yeah. Almost verbatim, like every time. So you'll get those clips 2 or 3 weeks beforehand. There's going to be a clip or 2. Usually it's like a Disney Channel clip, something uploaded to the YouTube channel, whatever.
So Swirly Straw Studios is saying it was official as far as the time. I'm not, because we didn't hear it. I don't want to say that it is, just as far as since that's the case. But let's see, there was another thing. So here in Mexico, so Gato was saying in Mexico, they're having an open casting for people to do random voice characters. Are you guys doing something similar in the US? I haven't heard that, but I did see that they were doing that in France as well. I think it's something that's actually more common in some of the others. I think a lot of times in the States, we use a group called the Loop Group that we do for some of the smaller characters that they work with.
It's like one of his dreams.
Oh gosh, to voice a character in a film?
Yeah.
Since I was a kid.
I know.
Who doesn't have that dream?
Yeah, he talks about it all the time. It's funny. He's like, I just want to say a line and have it be like cartooned.
Yeah.
Especially now we have a son.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Pixar Fan Forever, do you think Coco will be like Cars 3 where you maybe, they're saying where you hated it first, but then you like it. I never hated Cars 3 even at first.
No, I think you've seen it like 8 times in the theater.
Yeah, I've seen it, quite a few times. We went and saw it again over Labor Day when it was released again. Dan, you did too, right?
Oh yeah, it was essential.
Yes, so yeah, that was great to see again.
Yeah.
Olaf's, I don't think not too much. I don't want to dive into it too much. No. We kind of talked on it. We don't need to talk about the story or anything on it.
No.
I think as long as it is the limited engagement where it's the first couple weeks and then goes out, I can't see people. We talked about it with our son. There's no way he would chill through previews, then watch that, and then watch the movie if this was going to be something that was going to stay longer.
Right.
He would have a problem sitting there once Olaf's ended. He'd be like, "Woo, let's take off."
Okay, he's 3, so.
Right, yeah. I mean, he's young. He's young for sure. Obviously, the older you get, the more it's going to stick. But really, first couple weeks, I'm totally cool with it. It's like a unique thing. But what if it is for the first couple weeks and then they take it out? Are they going to have another short in its place? Are they going to re-release something?
Or will it just be like a tune?
That's a great question. I don't know. The whole Olaf thing is very interesting because it's obvious what it is. It's a draw for people who are very unfamiliar with this film and what it is and the culture. And so it's getting people in the seats, it's getting ticket spot, and that's, I get that.
But that generates the word of mouth that the film needs to be successful.
Exactly.
So,
and that's the thinking over there.
Right. So. And so some people are like, they're frustrated with that. They're like, this is a bunch of garbage.
We want it to do well, though. And if it takes Olaf to do that, then,
Yeah, if you can, that's the power of marketing. If you can use one of your products to drive another product further or introduce it more softly
and that's the thing,
an audience.
Introducing it.
Yeah.
Introducing this film to people.
Disney is the king of cross promoting because they own so many things.
Right. It is a little interesting from the standpoint that it's a Disney product in front of the Pixar movie.
Hasn't this been done one time before? I can't remember what it was. I believe it was one time before.
Oh,
Bolt. What?
Bolt was Tokyo Mater.
Yes.
Right then.
So that it was the other way around, but that was in the phase That was in the phase where Disney was using Pixar to get their name back up. They were coming out of the rubble after with Bolt.
Bolt was one of the John Lasseter's first films that he was involved with, as far as over on Disney's side.
Exactly. So that kind of filled that gap as well. Plus, that was also a tune. That wasn't like a longer thing like this. I don't know.
I missed the short though. I loved Lou, and I always look forward to the shorts. But at least we had that one with Cars 3.
Yeah, we liked Lou too.
Clearly,
you did.
Yeah. So we talked about
plush.
Oh yeah, I talked about it before too. My other thought is that Pixar didn't have anything else in the can ready to go because of all the other backups that The Good Dinosaur created. There also that experimental shorts program that they had when they were doing Borrowed Time, and then Smash and Grab. Yeah, so I mean they're doing other things that are taking up render time, and this movie clearly, Coco, took up a ton of render pipeline time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really started from that Good Dinosaur time frame of pushing things back, because they even talking to Dave Mullins, he was talking on Lou how that got shelved for months because they needed the resources to work on other projects. So
features come first in the studio. Features
always get prioritized first, especially when it comes to not only pulling artists to work on it, but then also for render times. So I think that honestly, they didn't have anything else that was in the can ready to go to plop in front of this either, unless they wanted to do a smash and grab, but they're not fully revealing all that yet.
Yeah.
Anyway. So.
Which would mean for award season, it would be Lou, Cars 3,
right,
and Coco.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Coco, speaking of award season, the animation, the films in that genre there hasn't been anything that I see that could blow Coco out of the water yet. I think that Coco has a very strong chance with its subject matter, with its themes, with its quality, with its brand name of Pixar. I know it's gonna get glowing reviews already. Whether it makes the number, whether it makes a huge amount of money at the box office, I still know it's gonna have a high rating. And so, with all that said, I think Coco is a huge contender at the Academy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure, and people are saying,
I almost guarantee that I can't think of anything that could probably take its spot this year.
Yeah, I mean, Swirly Straw Studios' Lee Unkrich made Toy Story 3, that won an Oscar. This certainly
and nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. I mean,
which is only one of 2 animated films to ever do that. That and Beauty and the Beast, I believe.
Beauty and the Beast. I think there's 3. I think there's one more.
Maybe Up was Up in there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. It was 2 Pixar and then 3 animated overall.
So I can see Coco having upwards of a 97, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that it's going to be well received, and I think that it's going to destroy at the award season.
Yeah, and the Academy loves appealing to minorities,
also true.
especially with the recent shakeups that they've had. But the other thing is, somebody said, can Coco and Cars 3 be nominated? Yeah, absolutely. Good Dinosaur at certain award shows, Good Dinosaur and Inside Out were up against each other, and that absolutely can.
The Annie's Cars 3. As much as I love the film, it's not.
No, but with the message that Cars 3 had, it could be because Cars 2 got overlooked. It could be one that actually would get a nomination because of the fact that it leaned so heavily towards the strong female role.
Mm-hmm.
True. And like I said earlier, that the competition, I can't think of anything that really is in the running as far as something that is better quality than a Pixar film. It's even Cars 3, which is, I know they're less favored. I can't think of anything that has come out this year that
Well, the Ninjago movie is probably gonna be
there's the Ninjago movie, there's the Emoji movie, there's Coco, there's Cars 3,
Despicable Me 3.
There's a third.
That will be in there, because really there's not a ton to pull from.
What did Blue Sky do? Nut Job 2?
Blue Sky has Ferdinand coming out in December, so
that's
that
right.
in there. I don't know.
So then the Polish artist is mentioning, to be honest, Cartoon Saloon's The Breadwinner has a very strong chance of winning the Academy Award. That would be.
There's always a couple like lesser known ones in there too.
Correct. I mean, Cartoon Saloon, they do, I mean, amazing stuff as well. So I mean, we have not seen The Breadwinner, but you know, when it gets to that time, Captain Underpants, somebody mentioned too.
Yep. Thanks for.
So there's a lot that's out there that's potentials, but yeah, I mean, obviously.
I don't want to say anything to jinx stuff, like talk about awards, but it is interesting.
That's true, but just speculating, I think that it's gonna be a contender. I'll just say that.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
Oh, Boss Baby. Yeah.
Boss Baby.
I don't think we had anything to worry. I mean, okay, no, but anyway. Yeah. I guess we don't need to go down that road. Obviously not, but I'm just saying.
Right. Hey, they did greenlight a second one.
Yeah.
They did.
So
I can't say I didn't see it. So
right. So, anyways, does that cover what we needed to cover? That was a long time. We talked for almost
like 2 hours,
just shy of 2 hours, because we started about 5 minutes behind. So we're at like an hour and 50 minutes to talk about a 2.5 minute trailer. Now that has to be
dedication.
I think that might be our record for Hangouts as far
as it's the longest. It's staying live, right? Yeah.
Usually, everyone, thank you so much. Like everyone who has stayed with us, you guys are fantastic. Like the comments have been going this entire, like that's what's been fueling this.
Yeah.
Everybody's participation. Yeah. So thanks to everybody out there.
Without a doubt. So thank you, Defend DACA. You guys are awesome, is what they said. So yes.
Does it say how many people are?
I like their screen name too.
Yeah, exactly. So Swirly Straw, one more question. We know you're from the South. Who are y'all's favorite characters so far in Coco?
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, Dan, you can go first.
Who's my favorite in Coco?
Or just favorites? Or they said favorite characters so far in Coco.
I don't know if I have a favorite because I haven't seen enough, but the one I'm intrigued the most about would probably be Hector. I'm interested to see their dynamic and their their comedy together. He seems just like you're one of those characters that you just fall in love with, him and Miguel's relationship. So I'm excited to see where that goes and how they blossom, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You?
I'm gonna love Dante for the comic relief. Hector, I've already talked about that. I am excited because of the emotional connection and how Miguel might try to help him out.
I think he's just gonna kind of be suave, kind of likable. Not suave, but just he's gonna be a likable. Like from what I've heard about the voice actor, he's just kind of like a cool dude. I think he's gonna be a kind of a cool character. And
to be honest, I think I'm gonna I don't think it's gonna be a major like character. It's like where we're gonna think about it all the time when we think about Pepita. I'm gonna be. I think I'm gonna really like that just because already seeing the artwork. We saw the artwork, that the concept art that you had, and then you have the 3D printed character that they gave you, which is amazing. And then
I still need to finish painting it.
Yes, and then seeing the animation of it with the glowing aspects. I think Pepita is going to be one that I'm going to love just because that is looks like a bad what character.
Wait, which one?
Pepita.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know who I'm interested in too? Just again for the comic relief reasons, we haven't seen anything from is the twins.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm excited for them because, like you said, a tuck and roll type character. I know it's not going to be that to that extreme because they just talk gibberish, but something like that. I'm excited to see. Who knows? They could become like a fan favorite. I wonder who the fan favorite is going to be. One that, because you remember how Gerald was the fan favorite. Like you couldn't see enough like tweets about Gerald.
Yeah, there were so many gifs of Gerald.
Tweets. Anytime I posted anything about Gerald, it would get like the most likes ever.
Yeah.
Like I wonder who's going to be the fan favorite. Like the one that just gets all the love from the general public.
Right.
For this one.
Side note, I thought it was also a cool joke in the trailer. What?
The corn boy on there.
Oh, corn boy. Yeah, maybe the corn boy.
Yeah, I think he might be one of Miguel's cousins.
Okay.
I think he's part of Miguel's family.
He's already getting love. He's gotten several love.
Yeah. Corn boy. But what was I going to say?
Oh, mine's Miguel, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
What was yours?
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
It's Miguel.
Miguel.
So far.
And you've seen 40 minutes, so that's pretty. Is that your favorite, or are we going with still like who you're most interested to see where they're going, like intrigued about, or is that like, are you going favorites?
My favorite thus far.
Okay, all right. Oh, and we have a question. Who's Pepita? If you want to answer that again.
Pepita is the fiercely loyal spirit guide of Mama Imelda.
If you had seen the trailer, let's see, Gato.
And Alejebre. Alejebre.
So Pepita, if you've seen the trailer, she's the big, colorful, what she said.
Yeah.
That thing. The one that looks like it's glowing, if you saw the trailer.
Yeah. So Esther is saying, I want to know more about Abuelita. Notice her arm jiggle.
Yes. And I talked about this because it is the first time in a Pixar film that there is jiggle in skin. The very first animated skin jiggle. Yes.
Like she's got the bingo wing.
She's got wings. And it was really interesting because there's so much animation that was done on her and Mama Coco.
With the wrinkles.
Yes. But yes, how do we say her?
Abuelita.
Abuelita. Yeah.
Abuelita.
Abuelita. Miguel's grandmother. She is a riot. I love her. It was interesting because when they were animating her, Lee, the director, he when she whaps Miguel with her shoe, she originally was holding something else.
A wooden spoon.
Yeah. And then when he spoke with people, he said no, she would take off her shoe.
It's the slipper, the chancala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, she's a riot.
Okay.
She's a pistol.
Quick note. I just wanted to, just from the comments here, I'm glad that Esther is still here because her husband, Danny, is just the coolest guy. He interacts with me a ton on Instagram. I have literally right here on my wall is my favorite Pixar art piece by him of all time. And so it's right, like it says Danny in the corner of it. I just have to say thanks for being here because he is awesome. And his work on the film is obviously fantastic.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He sent us a very nice picture of a drawing that he did of Hector right next to the drawing of young Mike Wazowski that we have on our homepage because it's on our thank you notes that we send out.
Yeah, I'm a big thank you note person, so.
Well, I just wanted to shout that out because I just love his style and love that art and love what he's bringing to the film as well.
Yeah, I think all 17 people who I met and who took the time to present stuff to Coco with us, I sent them a thank you because they took time out of their busy schedule because Coco wasn't done and shared all their insight with us. So it means a lot to me. So I thank them.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm old school. I send handwritten thank yous.
No,
totally. We're the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a couple requests for stuff in the background that we'll talk about those. They want a video of some of our collectibles and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we've got some cool stuff. A lot of it, like one of the ones that I really love is the small fry visor that was actually made. I love that one. That is super cool. So it's the visor that the employees wear at the restaurant. There's some other fun stuff that we can talk about up there, but yeah, we've got other stuff in other places. We've got
this house is like
it's a mess.
John Lasseter's office sometimes.
It's too scattered though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Scattered.
It's giant piles in every room.
I have this room, and then there's a room upstairs that has about 10 bins completely filled. Don't know what's gonna happen. And then the basement is all my cars bins, and that
that's where our cars are.
That has about another 10 bins down there. So it's a problem.
It is a problem.
My favorite Pixar thing we have though.
What's that?
I said my favorite Pixar thing we have though is that Party Source Rex I made. That took me a long time. The final one, version 5.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. And yes, the Bounden, we don't have the set.
Yeah, we don't have the set.
Dan has the set, signed by Bud Lucky.
On my floor, I have all the Pixar short plush and a little pyramid sitting on the Bounden box right here.
Okay. Yeah, we just have the jackalope.
Yeah. And we're on the same page with anything that's merchandise from the shorts we will own.
Oh, yeah.
Everything and anything.
Yeah. Yes. We try.
That's why, and sorry if this is off the rails again, but that Lou maquette that's in production right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
To me now. I am going to own that one day. Maybe down the road in the far future, but it will be mine one day. Okay,
so I was this close of buying the Piper one when I was just at the studio.
You should have. Oh my gosh.
No, I couldn't. It was $200.
Yeah,
and
it's $200+ bucks.
I had to finish paying off our Disney trip. So I'm like, what do I do? Disney World?
It's because it is so, like, when you see it, like the 3D printing, and it's ridiculous the detail that's on it.
Oh, man. But maybe one day.
Right.
When there's not a world trip plan.
Yeah. So have we reached our max?
I think so. We're over 2 hours now.
Yeah, this is insane. This is definitely the longest that we have ever done one of these live.
Well, we've had a fun time.
Yeah, usually we'll hang out and talk afterwards for a little bit. But yeah, this is the longest that we've been live for sure. Usually Julie's giving me the let's wrap it up symbol because I usually talk way too long.
But Julie loves Coco.
I love Coco.
She's so ecstatic about it. She can't even stop. Like, we could literally go on until 1 a.m. plus, and we'd be going strong. So
now what's funny is this is the first time that when we started this YouTube live that it's ever popped up and told us that you have a let's do it. Let's do 4. So this is the first time it's ever popped up, and it said that your max time that you can go live is 8 hours. I'm like, maybe one of these days we'll have to do the full 8 hours and do like a day in the life.
If anyone could do it, we could do it. We might need a couple more, faces on there.
A day in the life. That means like our 3-year-old son running around while I'm trying to do a post, a trailer that releases at noon, which is our lunchtime. A night in the life.
A night in the life.
Yes.
Because it would be through the night.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, it's been fun. Obviously, if we can keep on talking about it, we obviously are in for something really special here. And it obviously has a lot of people excited, and so I'm just thrilled that it's getting so much love right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm laughing at challenge accepted. I'll totally watch.
Bam. Thanks, Sophie's.
That's right. So, all right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. We had a blast. Wish we could stay longer, but I have 3 days this week. I have 3 days this week of like 4 hours of sleep, so I'm maxed.
Yeah, it's midnight here. It's past.
Yeah, so I need some sleep tonight. So anyways, yes, so thank you guys. Like Dan said, it was a blast reading the comments and talking through the different visuals that we saw. Who knew that after, like I said, a 2.5-minute trailer with really like a minute and some of footage we had not seen,
like a minute, that
we could talk for 2 hours on it. Goes to the power of everything. We even have a nighty night in the comments. I love it. Oh, hasta mañana. Yeah, I lost you there, didn't I, Dan?
Oh, I was just going off of Esther's comment.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind.
That wasn't sincere Spanish for me.
Oh, all right. I gotta dust off some of mine. When I was in class, I used to do all these, like, my teacher would get mad at me because I would do stupid phrases on purpose. Like I would do, like, she'd be like, learn different phrases, make up your own, like, things that you could say hi or bye to somebody. And I would do like soy lechuga me tome, and that'd be like, I am lettuce, eat me. And I would just do stupid stuff. And she'd be like, I appreciate that you're learning the language, but cut it out. You're acting like an idiot. So it was fun for me. I at least had to make myself entertained. So
well, I guess you gotta step it up then this time.
I'm going to.
Coco will make you step it up. Maybe Coco should have come out then.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Well, no, because then we wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't have helped. So, all right, everybody, we're off the rails again. Have a fantastic evening. Until the next trailer, we will talk to you soon. But be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. And if you want some other product news, be sure to visit DanThePixarFan.com.
Bye.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.